Every one of us is tasked with bringing the world to perfection. This week's Parsha reveals a secret to help us do just that. Parashah Devarim starts the fifth and final book of the Torah. The Parsha recounts some of the key events of the 40 years since leaving Egypt. One of the events that is recounted in great detail is the incident of the spies. It's no coincidence that Parashah Devarim is always read on the Shabbat before Tisha B'Av. It was on Tisha B'Av that the spies brought their negative report and the people cried all that night. Hashem's response is to say, "Because you cry today for no reason, I will give you reason to cry on this day throughout history." Tisha B'Av became a day of national tragedy. There's a long list of national tragedies of the Jewish people that happened over the years on the 9th of Av. But it was the destruction of our temples in Jerusalem that gives the day its particular character. To this day, we mourn the loss of our temples. The Talmud tells us that the second temple was destroyed due to baseless hatred, Jews hating other Jews for no reason. Moshe in this week's Parsha shows us how to avoid such hatred. Moshe had, let's say, a tense relationship with the Jewish people. They made his life difficult. They complained nonstop for the 40 years. They rebelled against Moshe and Hashem on multiple occasions. And while Moshe needs to take responsibility for his own actions, the people's behavior undoubtedly contributed to Moshe's punishment of not being allowed to enter the land of Israel. Moshe had every reason to hate the Jewish people. As Moshe recounts the events of the 40 years, it would have been understandable if he used that opportunity to point out everything the people did wrong. You rebelled here. You sinned here. You built a golden calf here. But that's not what Moshe does. Moshe hints at the people's mistakes enough that they know what he's talking about, but not so much as to embarrass them. Moshe then looks out over the people. And what does he see? Does he see a nation of sinners? No, he sees a nation that has and will continue to make mistakes, but a nation of millions of God-fearing men, women, and children who would lay the groundwork for Yisroel in Eretz Yisroel for all time. At that moment, Moshe is consumed with love for each and every Jew, and he calls out, "May Hashem, the God of your fathers, increase you 1,000-fold and bless you." Moshe had every reason to call out of hate, but instead calls out of love. Chaverim, my friends, this lesson in how to avoid baseless hatred is needed now more than ever. On October 6th, Yisroel was experiencing baseless hatred. There were protests in the streets of Israel and rhetoric dripping with disdain filling the conversation. The right versus left, those in favor of court reform versus those opposed, those against draft exemptions for the Haredi and those for it. Brother fighting brother, but not because of any fundamental disagreement on the end goal. Everyone wanted a safe, secure, and a strong Jewish people. The different factions simply had different opinions on what the best way to achieve those goals was. That is baseless hatred. You agree on the big picture, you agree on most details, but you find the one point you disagree on and you use that as a seed for hate. But all of that changed on October 8th. Suddenly, these brothers and sisters who were yelling at each other for months came together in unity to confront the evil that was October 7th. None of their differences went away, but the importance of dealing with an external hatred plastered over the fractures that were so obvious just 2 days before. October 8th was an example of baseless love. Is baseless love really the antidote for baseless hate? Can baseless love reverse the damage caused by baseless hate? I think looking back at the last 21 months, you can clearly say no, it really doesn't. The baseless hate that was there on October 6th never went away. Sure, it was overshadowed by baseless love for a couple months, but over time, baseless love fades away and the cracks return. If the love is baseless, then it doesn't have a long-term effect. Baseless love is not the opposite of baseless hate. The opposite of hating your brother for no reason is not loving your brother for no reason. The opposite of hating your brother for no reason is loving your brother for a reason. Baseful love is what we all need. We need to love our brothers and sisters, not as a response to the hate being hurled at us from every corner of the world, but love our brothers and sisters because they are our brothers and our sisters. Because even if they have a different idea of how to perfect the world, we all share that same end goal of a perfect world. We need to look out at the Jewish people and see a nation of millions of men, women, and children that, even if they disagree on some specifics, is continuing to lay the groundwork for Am Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael for all time. The temple was destroyed because of baseless hatred. It will be rebuilt because of baseful love. I'm recording this video on Thursday evening, 48 hours before the start of Tisha B'Av. Let's use these 48 hours to express our baseful love for all of our brothers and sisters. Let's fill the Jewish world with so much baseful love that we bring about Mashiach and turn this Tisha B'Av from a day of fasting to a day of feasting. The clock is ticking. Let's get to work. That's one thing we can learn from this week's Parsha. How will you step up this week to bring the world a little closer to perfection? Shabbat Shalom and Am Yisrael Chai.